Mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brick Something News. It is Sunday, 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm really trying to stay regular with this thing, and so we are here. And we are joined today with a special guest. As always, we gotta bring somebody in here to help me geek out and share some of the needless, nerdy, geeky, wonderful ephemera we saw. Today, I've got Mega J Retro joining me here on the Brick Something channel. Woo!
What's going on, guys?
I think I am super excited. Jay's been awesome and had me, jump on over on his channel, and that's been just like amazing. And now he's here joining me, and I'm super, super, super happy about that. So I've been calling these our nerdy Kasama Kick It, because for the folks who don't know, it's always fun for me to hang out with other geeky Pinoys, right? We got that. How are you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing good, Brick. Lots of things happening in toys news around the world, but I'm excited to find out what you've been geeking out of, over the past couple of days, because the regular stuff, obviously, I go through and I'm always up on the flash in the pans, but would love to see what you've dug up to this weekend.
Yeah, and flash in the pan makes it seem so unimportant, but man, you and I were talking Friday night about some good stuff. That whole giant man thing was a big deal. Eternia's choice, huge deal. So, but yeah,
what I mean by flash in the pan is, it's definitely hot breaking news, right? And it is that big flash, right? But as just like with crowdsourced projects, they go, oh wow, and then it kind of plateaus until it actually starts getting released again, right? So that's how I look at that one.
Fair enough. So, but yeah, I think that gets to the point of sort of what I'm trying to do over here is that, I nerd out about a lot of things, and some of it's not even toys. And based on what I've seen from you and sort of your background, whether it was stuff with anime, I get so excited when I look at some of your old stuff, Stargazer, Space Coutiers. Yeah. I'm just like, oh, Guy King. I was like, oh, so I love talking about all sorts of stuff, and then sometimes introducing some new things to folks maybe who haven't been exposed to it. So let's do it. But before we do that, just a little housekeeping for those who are unfamiliar with how this works. You might see this thing pop up every now and then, this little QR code. And so basically when we get done, usually shortly after we do this live, I'll put up the document that's down there at the URL that's listed there, and you can use your phone to check out the QR code, and I actually just give you direct links to everything that you're seeing on the screen, because I truly want you to go check out these people, follow them, and just see all the amazing things that are out there. So that's what that's about, and let's go ahead and move in. Let's check out the stuff that was seen this week. First off, you know me and animals.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
I have become unintentionally, actually, sort of associated with this whole anthropomorphic animal action figure thing that seems to become a true thing in the sort of indie toy line world and the third-party toy. So this is Zezre Studios. Are you familiar at all with Zezre? They tend to do gladiator figures.
I love First of all, I love Gladiator, the movie. The movie I loved. I loved it. Russell Crowe. And Spartacus was a really big television series.
Loved it.
So I got into the game late with Zezre, and I was able to pick up a couple of those. You just put up one of the I missed her. She's the only one I don't have.
I thought this was the one you have.
No,
okay,
that's the one I don't have. I have the other two. She's the only one I don't have. Yeah.
Gotcha. This and the other one who I don't have on hand. Yeah. Okay.
So this same with the company for sure.
Perfect. So this same company is moving into creatures, and they have already solicited their minotaurs,
Yeah.
which I believe is listed here. But now they're taking that same buck for the minotaur, and they're putting out this rhino. And so what you're seeing here is the red variant. I'm assuming there's going to be a differently colored one, because I know a lot of people were wondering about like a more standard gray. But this is a variant because specifically it's for LA Comic-Con that's coming up in December 1st. And then the way they do this, I don't know, you were talking about her. They had a variant for Berenice here at LA Comic-Con that was in black armor that I missed. So it's the same kind of deal with this one. This is going to be at that Comic-Con, exclusive to that con. And then whatever's left over, they'll sell on BBTS and 5K, and then it'll be gone. Presumably they'll come out with a gray or some other color.
Nice.
But
yeah, I remember seeing the announcement for the Minotaur. Very, very cool. He's huge, and I'm gonna assume that this guy's even bigger. So or the same, because you said that he uses the same buck.
Yep.
So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Like, seriously.
You saw I'm pretty sure must have seen the prototype. They had it while you were at PowerCon with all your sort of great coverage of do you remember what was it? It was 5K Toys sort of distributor. I think it was called Neogen Toys. They were around the corner from AWalk. I'm sure there were like so many things, but I want to say I saw it in your coverage, but
maybe like it was such a blur at that around that point. But yeah. I think I did see those figures on display. Again, wonderful. The fact that we get to see all these indie companies, and this was not so much indie, but these new companies coming to the forefront, and bringing out these great action figures for sure. I mean, we can even see Matt Hatter right there commenting, that it looks like a Zezre. So yeah, it's just awesome.
Yeah, totally. He's been all about these sort of like third-party lines too, which I love. I love seeing him. He's talking about the same bear that I was really into, and so I think it's really cool what's happening. I want to say this company, at least the designers, are somewhere out of Europe, but and then being sort of manufactured and working with folks in Asia. So yeah, it's a really cool thing, and I want to say the Minotaurs were here. Let's see. So this is where what you may have seen while you were in at PowerCon. So this was actually from PowerCon. Shout out to Josh Brown Toys for letting me sort of share this. And then here's the Minotaurs, so you can kind of see.
Yeah, I do remember seeing them. I didn't know that these were the Zezre prototypes.
Oh, right.
And that's probably why I was like, ooh, and then I just kind of like moved on. So
yeah, because there were so many on this table that were a bunch of different lines.
It wasn't an official. It wasn't like Zezre themselves. It was actually just a booth, and I was like, oh, cool, right? And then
that's right.
Then I just kept. I wish I had time to interview everybody. That's unfortunate. So yeah, would have been really nice to see these guys.
Yeah. These were, so I've got these on pre-order. So Jay, like you and I are talking about, like, oh my God, you've got the cats there and all this. Like I don't go for those, but I'll tell you, if you add stuff up, I'm not far behind. And these things stack, and they're probably, because he's, like you said, are about 9, almost 10 inches.
Yeah,
so.
He's huge. He's absolutely massive.
So that's the first thing. And I think that's probably a pretty good sense of the kinds of stuff we'll look at. So on that note, let's quickly check in with the chat after that sort of first story. Largo, great to see you. Thank you so much. News needs, not really news needs, like just seeing two people nerd about cool stuff on the interview. Sounds like Chris's team didn't quite work out today, if I'm understanding the sports talk. Carol, fantastic. I agree. It is a hell of a line to start with. Let's see. Hey, Thanos, good to see you. So happy that folks could join us. Speaking moistly with a brand new merman thumbnail image. Yep, see it? I'm not the only one who notices. You changed your hair, didn't you? Skyfall, I'm not going to sing today, but hello, Skyfall. Thanks for joining us again. Josh Brown, whose photos are right there on the screen right now. Thank you for sharing. Knives. He's got the knives out for the Tuesday crew on Parallel Universe. Shout out to Wade. Silver K Kayla coming in soft today. Hi, friends. 3 green hearts. I'm sure the smacking is going to... Oh, too late. Yep. She started smacking. Christina, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Star, my cosmic friend. Always great to see you. Mr. Home Arcade. Hey, folks. Amazing Customs. You know, I gotta feature some of Mr. Home Arcade stuff over here. Agreed. We've now gone past her normal innuendo and into potty humor. Yay. Let's see. I see a hey girl, hey, and I'm waiting for that one too. Hey, what's going on, Allison? Fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Absolutely the hardest working streamer on YouTube. Let's see. Who else we got going on? Hey, folks seem to like you, Mega J. Look at you. Bolgin Muncie J. Look at that. Alter egos have come through, I'm assuming, unless that's Lucha Johnny. Nah, based on the message, I have a feeling that's Silver K. Sorry, giving us updates. We were just over on Highly Articulated. I was kind of listening and chatting and, talking about Legendary Kickstarter. Man, like you already said it. There's all sorts of stuff coming out. Kickstarters, third-party stuff. Are you familiar at all with that Legendary?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the Legendary. A lot of people have been sending it my way. It's got shades of Master of the Universe. Just mostly the colors. The colors are really very reminiscent of Master of the Universe. So yeah, a lot of people have been saying, "Hey, we should back this." And I'm like, maybe we should. I might feature it one day, depending on on the schedules and stuff. But again, we can talk about it here too.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't include it. But yes, soon enough. Let's see. We got alter egos up in here. Peach and Pickles. What's that about? AWOC. Yeah, what is that? I'm not sure. Sorry, funny story over on Bill's channel this morning, Weird Fantastic Toys. They started talking about AWOC, and then folks were like, Brick, and I was like, AWOC, and then I jumped on and basically did like a 10-minute commercial. Josh Brown, I hear you. Hope this guy is gettable. It is a con exclusive. I will tell you that on 5K and BBTS for the Black Armored exclusive to LA Comic Con, Berenice, they did have leftover stock, and those were up for a little bit. So otherwise, definitely reach out to folks and see if anybody can pick you up one. Yep. And Charlie Weaver, good to see ya. Star, sorry once again if I'm enabling you, but you know how I do. Hey, Miss Jessam of C. Jessam. So we'll take a look at some of her work in a little bit because there's some awesome updates by C. Jessam. Again, a fellow Kababayan up in Canada, actually. So fellow Philcan folks. Yep. And you'll see, man, the work, you might actually already know them, but the work is glorious. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern of our sector of the universe, is here today. Good to see you again.
You say that, but they're like what, 10 Green Lanterns in this
true.
In this sector. What is sectors? What sector is it now? I mean,
I had the number for a while, but it fell out of my brain. But true, at least it's not Guy. But I mean, if you're into Guy,
saying, right? And then we have the most powerful Green Lanterns as an Earthborn, right? So I mean, come on, it's just getting ridiculous.
It is. C. Jessam, there's the other half of C. Jessam. Kumusta? Good to see you, pare. Let's see. And people are loving the Rhino. Figuratively speaking, John, great to see you. I don't know how you do this, Mega J. You go through the chat like an expert, man. You are great. I'm trying my best here. Oz. Speaking of experts, I would say like right behind you is one of the hardest streamers out there. He did 6.5 hours last night.
Absolutely.
6.5. 6.5. Whew. And let's see. Great to see everybody. Yeah, Oz knows what's up. Legendary's looking great. They had a good time last night, and I'm assuming PowerCon was good, but also recognizing C. Jessam for being some of the best soft goods in the market. Okay. Oh, wait, one more. Super Dave's reviews action figures, who I will confess is new to me. And part of it was based on something that came up this week that we're going to talk about today. So I'm super excited. And let's go ahead and just jump in to the rest of this stuff. Oh, here, real quick. Thank you, Chris. See, they're picking it up for us. Sector 2814. There are 2 Green Lanterns per sector. Kyle, Guy, John, and Hal are honor guard, right? And Simon and Jessica, that's right, are assigned lanterns. Yeah, are the assigned lanterns. Yes. And you might have been, because like, it feels like lanterns.
They're just lanterns everywhere. Sector 2814 has unsanctioned lanterns. They just showed up.
True.
Whenever like rings just come to them. It's they're sleep.
It's totally true. But I love that part of DC. I love the Green Lantern Corps. I love that sort of stuff, the spacey stuff.
Sure.
But, all right, let's keep going with some plastic.
Hombre.
Yes, you're very well versed in Hombre X, hordakmx, Jose Luis Morea out of Mexico. I love this guy's work. I own so many of his heads, and what I wanted to share were some of these newbies that just dropped, because you know a little something about Masters of the Universe.
I saw this the other day. And I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" But you know what? It makes sense. I mean, like that's the first time he showed up on this on the show. I guess somebody got the character design wrong. You know, they should reverse the eyes. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, that is classic headed Skeletor from New Adventures. So
yeah,
you know, there's going to be a lot of fans who want this. 100%, like bar none. There are going to be a ton of fans who want this.
Absolutely. I mean, I would say there were fans who, once they revealed this figure, who were already wanting it and like almost complaining, right? Where is it? Where is it?
The man himself right there, Pixel Dan. Comment, right? Very first comment. Whoa, this is great.
Yep.
Right? So you know he's on the hook for this for sure.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. I mean, and I love the fact that we're in this age where production skills have caught up, even though Hordak, Jose Luis, uses like resin and actually is sculpting these things by hand.
You know what? They have a whole production line. They have a whole bunch of people helping them out. But you know, for what they're charging, you can't go wrong. I mean, a custom head way back when we started collecting, like for anything, was like $40, $50, right? He's asking between $20 and $30. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like,
and I've got a couple.
And the thing is that, like, when you look at them on when you look at them on pictures, right? You just cannot appreciate the type of quality that you're actually. I mean, this is just ridiculous. She is just absolutely.
I think you just added another one to my next order.
She's gorgeous.
That's scaled for Masterverse, yeah.
This is scaled for this one's scaled for classics.
Classics, okay.
Right, classics. But I mean, like, it's not like you can't. It's not like you can't do a little bit of work and.
Sure.
But they have a Masterverse version, right? And then you know, for me personally, I had because I the reason I ordered these is because obviously I have the classics version, and I'm sorry, but Super 7, bless their hearts, they just did not know how to do the faces, and they came to the rescue. But I do have to give huge and of course, I probably ruined that one.
No. Fingers crossed.
No, it looks okay.
Good.
Looks all right. Again, they do top-notch work, seriously, and that's actually one of the reasons why I'm going to do it this way. That's actually one of the reasons why I went to them. Now, I want to give huge props to Zelu, who's now
that is so nice.
A NECA sculptor. I believe this is originally Zelu's design. Okay, he even gave them props for this version. Because this is ridiculous. I mean, look at those eyes. So much better than the one that was actually revealed.
Oh, absolutely. That's fantastic.
Stunning.
Yeah, and people, obviously, like, there are people who really love it. I just wanna bring this up again. I love that Thanos is like, "I love and hate this head," because he thinks that the Hordak nailed it, but the design he's not into, and it is kinda weird. But, this was the one from the cartoon, and I get it if you're into that, man, that cartoon. What a great, great way to kind of, bring that figure make that figure available to folks. So, awesome, awesome stuff. Oh, yep. Hey, Eternia N.E.W.S. Hey, Master Versal, good to see you. Um, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, by the way, that head that you showed with Tila and Sorceress, Allison chimes in, most classic females. Yeah, we're a little bit off, and I'm totally, yes, but you can read it. All
Yeah,
right.
the Tila that came with Point Dread was
Mhm,
particularly bad. She was
mhm.
really, really bad.
Well, hey, let's keep on this new adventures, man. He-Man. So what from my shelf, I've got a couple of his He-Man. And what I really like about this is in my brain, if they're meant to be the same person, he really does a good job of like, like this is the same person just with the sort of different look. And I love his He-Man sculpts. And you can still use the helmet that came with it if you chose to. Not my way of displaying them, but I featured Jose Luis's work on here like a lot. He's been like, I think he was the first video on my channel showing like I love King Grayskull, but I also need a new head, and I shared my hordakmx head. So great work. I don't get anything for it. Just I want to support people that I love. Here's his Scare Glow.
Yeah. It should be mentioned though that when you order from hordakmx, prepare for a long wait. It does take a lot of time,
Yep. Yep.
but it will eventually show up.
Yep.
Like I think I waited a month and a half for my heads, which is
Mhm.
actually pretty fast because I've heard of it taking 2 months, sometimes 2.5 months. But again, for the quality, for what you pay for it, it's just absolutely stunning. Like I highly recommend them, 100%.
I agree. I agree. It, yeah, it's coming up from Mexico, and like, but never been done dirty. Awesome. Like, just great, great stuff. And he'll get it to you and you're going to love it. This was just a little bit different. Not really something that I've messed around with, but I appreciate that. Like, again, we're in this world where like, um, people can produce things that the companies just aren't, and maybe fill some gaps really, like, I don't like the head, great, here's an alternate, and the figures are made for swappable parts, and here's, I guess, his attempt at a full figure. Did the same thing with some of the lunatics too, but I figured since we were in MOTU phase, I'd share that. But let's move on to the next thing we'd seen. Hey, this is the shout out to C. Jessam from earlier. So this is Christian Baluyot, and that's a 2-person deal down there, partners up there in your neck of the woods, Toronto. You're East Coast. You're around there, yeah.
No, I'm
You're
in
further
Toronto.
east.
No, I'm in
You are in
Toronto.
Toronto.
I'm
Gotcha.
further north, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Markham.
Um,
I'm in Markham, Ontario.
got it.
Yeah.
So
So good to see,
it,
good to see more Pinoy Canadians, making the most of what they have. Especially
yeah.
when you're into the toy cult the the toy community. It's always great.
I thought I heard you say toy cult, which is also kind of
Oh yeah,
appropriate.
it's definitely a cult, 100%. We are praying to the we are praying
Yeah.
to the plastic gods here, man. We are
Yeah,
we are doing
100%.
what needs to be done, right? But
Uh-huh,
it's always
uh-huh.
it's always great to see wonderful customizers coming in and filling the gaps that are left by all these companies who really it's all about getting it out, getting it fast, getting it done, right? And it's
Yep,
sometimes getting it cheap, right? So when you see a customizer come in and really like fill in that wonderful that little gap which all of us want, like sometimes figures just look so good, but then it's just this one thing that really throws it off, and that one thing you cannot unsee, right? That's how I felt about Tila. That's how I felt
yep,
about Sorceress. That's how I
yep.
feel about a lot of different figures, right? Like I just got the notice that my 89 Batman and Batmobile shipped. So I'm very excited that one's actually coming in. But
Yep.
A lot of people are complaining about the head sculpt. I'm not really complaining about it, but I will say that it would be kind of neat to see, you know, the proper neckline not being able to move, that kind of stuff, right? So it'll be
Yep.
interesting to see when I finally get it.
Yep. And again, so happy that they're able to come through and roll out. Absolutely. But yeah, their work, fantastic, as it says here. So they have their own store, like producing um products for people to buy that work with a bunch of figures, really, but they've really like uh made a name for themselves, particularly for now being the freelance. It says here that the a prototype tailor for the Four Horsemen Studios. And like the second that Four Horsemen started incorporating CJessum's work into their figures, man, so many of us fans were just like, yes, finally, these are great. You know, no offense to the folks who were handling the soft goods work before, but we're talking wires and everything, details and everything. Stitching is beautiful. So, and we'll take a look at that. The proof is in what we're going to see. By the way, as I pointed out, it's not just Mythic Legions. They do bananas too. No, but they do, you know, here's some beautiful Star Wars, but this is the stuff that was dropping this week. Speaking of Legendary, they're doing the soft goods for those as well. And let me go and just take you to the site. So this is at cjessum.com. Again, everything that you're seeing here will be in that, that document that I'll show up again later, but there's the QR code for now. And you see the URL flashing across the screen there. But so these are all this one, the one over here, Mythic Legions figures, right? So this Ranger cloak with the accompanying hood, just like fit. Oops. Fit. What am I doing? Sorry about that. Are just fit beautifully, and the sort of like the detailed stitching on this thing, it's got to be, yeah, it's probably a I'm not gonna guess, but I'm not totally sure if they just sort of sourced that piece, but it works beautifully as trim, and it looks like in scale with the figure. Gorgeous stuff. Again, you know, cool choices and snaps are always quite decorative. It's never just sort of like, oh yeah, here's like from your auntie's like notions or nothing. It's solid. You see the sort of scarf here that is available. Everything is wired, so you can do these dynamic posing. You can see things here in the back. There's more of that decorative stitching in this piece, this trim, and even like the thinking around the like I don't know what you'd call it, the weave, right? It is scaled in a way that like, yeah, sometimes soft goods, right?
Yeah,
The scale of the
texture,
yeah,
the texture,
yeah.
and the size just doesn't seem to match. Because like when you get to when you get characters which are only 1/12 scale,
Yes.
you know, sometimes you have fabric which again is for human beings, right? And it's the cross hatching and the actual stitch pattern is just too big. But when you come to like something as fine as this, right, where the fabric is really nice and tight, and then you match it along with something which is meant to be a cloak, right,
Yep.
and it looks as good as that, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
It just gives it that added extra chef's kiss to the product, right? I love the gold hemming at the end, right? Really gives it
Yes.
that sort of heraldry that
Yep.
you would expect from Mythic Legion's character, right? Really,
So
really
good.
enhancing the overall work of the armor, right?
Absolutely.
To just give this little extra bit of again realism that you wouldn't normally expect from something this size.
And Mythic Legions fans love to customize their figures, so being able to get these sorts of things is a thing they do. I know some folks who are maybe used to buying other price points. I know this is wild. Wait, $45 for the cape, and it's just a cape. It's not even the scarf and the hood. So a couple of things. Yeah, that's almost probably what you would have spent on this figure. Note that like the folks who do these, they're customizing, they're adding, kind of like what you were saying with the head, right? And the folks who make these are like, these are folks in there, sewing, and I don't know to what extent how they're handling the production on these goods, but I know that for the Four Horsemen stuff, that gets done at a factory. But I will say, like, this stuff is amazing, and if you really want to customize and plus your figures, like this is there, right? But again, the good news, because they're now working with the Horsemen, this stuff comes like standard now. Like this level work is coming standard on these figures. Just a quick shot of the hood, and we'll probably need to move on. But look at, sorry, amazing. I love the cut of it, right? You can tell they're sort of really looking at design. Like it's not a straight cut. There's some shaping there so that this hole is a little bit smaller, if you will, and just there's a wire in there somewhere. Good stuff. Top quality stuff. And then I want to show some of this stuff, right? Full body garments. These we don't see too much of in Mythic Legions. This is actually for a Marvel Legends figure. So you can kind of see the tailoring. You still see the awesome silhouette of the figure working perfectly with that pose. I love it. And then there's also the companion piece. You sort of saw them there together. Just look at the tailoring on that. I made a joke to them on their Instagram because I did get a little bit stuck on, I don't know if you ever watch Friends, when Ross gets his leather pants, and don't worry about it. But that's totally where I got stuck on this figure. But like this is full shirt, full pants. That just looks, that's amazing to me. Now, again, not everyone's for soft goods, but I just marvel at the work that's going into this.
Yeah, oftentimes 1/6 in soft goods just don't work. I mean, like you look at any Jedi robe that's ever been put on a that's ever been included with a with a Black Series figure. It just doesn't seem to flow, right? And it gets doubly worse when it's 1/24 scale. Like that's where, and there are a lot of soft goods for vintage collection, right? And a lot of times they just do not seem to fit, right? They just seem really bunchy, and it doesn't flow, especially because when you have a cloak, it's supposed to drop on you. It's actually supposed to hang off your shoulders, right? That doesn't happen with 1/12 or 1/24, right? It's 132. Anyway, whatever scale that is. What's it called? Vintage collection scale, right? It is 1/24, right? Yeah. So you got to look at these things, and when you see something as nice as this, where it actually fits the form, it's amazing to see it working so well.
It's like there's like a little tiny tailor in the world that takes this guy's measurements and figures if he dresses to the left and the right. If you don't know, you might want to find out. This is for that, that classic figure that a lot of folks, the tribute figure for She-Ra, but just this cloak is amazing, and I want this one for my Masterverse, right? Again, I get it. They're not the cheapest thing, the most affordable thing. So I understand that. Not trying to get folks up in arms about it, but if you understand the work that gets in it, like it's there. But I'm just saying, I would love to see Masterverse come with even just a slightly plussed soft goods. I haven't been happy with what they've been giving us. I'm totally that guy, man. I'm replacing the heads with hordakmx and looking at soft goods by C. Jessam. So again, here's some of that skirting that actually again has come sort of more standard with these figures now. Not necessarily with this figure, I don't believe, but cool that they're doing this too. And so they're really ramping up because Legions Con is around the corner, and they're undoubtedly going to make a big show and likely sell a ton of this stuff. And I love that they're doing the Legions Ladies flag in the size of the figures. Very, very cool. And take note, folks, spear or pole not included. Okay. Speaking of the ladies of Legions, if you will, Nikki Nicole is hands down one of my favorite. I still say my favorite customizer for a couple of different reasons. Nikki Nicole's a super talented painter and Legions aficionado, but also now is is very much firmly part of the Savage Crucible line. So she's doing a lot of the paint masters, as well as other folks, other talented designers that many of whom came out of the sort of Mythic Legion's customizer, sort of cottage industry of customizers and painters. Part of the reason she's one of my favorites is not just because she does fantastic work, not just because, you know, and as you can quickly see here as I just sort of scroll through, but she's done a series a couple different times where she would go on live streams and teach how she goes about painting. And I just watch her and listen to her break it down. And it's like really awesome to sort of just see her process. And then it's also amazing what she gets done in like an hour or so. I'm just like, wow. So this is some of her work. And what I wanted to highlight was this, because she has a Halloween sale coming. And so part of the way these folks do this, like hordakmx, is, you know, they do their goods. They probably are not probably. I know for a fact she makes customs for herself and she has her own awesome collection, and then is like making these parts available for sale. So look out for Nikki Nicole's posts on her Instagram. Again, those links will be in that document, but you can see it here on the screen. And I'm pretty sure Thanos has been on it unofficially, which is awesome. I need to make you I hope you're a wrench so that folks can actually click on those links. But yeah, so, you know, just to give you a sense of like the kinds of things that are going to be available, this is an awesome cloaked and masked goblin head. And you can even see, speaking of that sort of like weave size, this is in the plastic itself, so not soft goods. But so this is by MAFC, I believe, My Action Figure Customs. And so she's just sort of painting them and selling them. And again, I'm pretty sure Nikki will be at Legion's Con. So what you're seeing right now, folks, is a bunch of these folks on the road to Legion's Con, getting ready, letting people know like what's going to be available on their sites or through their IGs, but then also projecting a little bit about what you might expect and should plan for Legion's Con. So anyway, just so many talented people, Jay. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, it always amazes me. You know, we're not getting any younger, right? So I look at
definitely not.
these action figure heads, and sometimes I'm like, okay, what's going on there, right? And it amazes me that they can actually get you know, a brush and really just get in there. That it's just absolutely incredible. And I've always envied people who know how to paint. You know, it's doubly so when you're painting at that scale. And people just don't appreciate how small that actually is. It's absolutely
No.
ridiculous.
Yes.
Like it's just dumb how
Yeah.
how much effort you need to put in there, but then it's just glorious when it finally comes out. Like, oh my god, like
Yep.
absolute artisans that are actually working in this customizing field.
Artisans is the word. Yes, absolutely. It's amazing, right? So like these folks, particularly around Mythic Legions, and we've had this, so I'll make it quick, but when Mythic Legions dropped, and because they built in the pop and swap portion and sort of gave folks the kind of like blessing to kind of just say, hey, third-party companies, accessory makers or whatever, please, yeah, do that. Go, you know, make stuff and sell it. And they have limits. They said like there's certain body parts you can't do because ultimately they still want people to buy their figures. But people are doing heads, people are doing, you know, all those, everything, torsos, arms, legs. And so, and then now soft goods. So it's really cool to see this artisanal, these artisan cottage industry really has sort of developed. Like these are folks who are making good money selling this stuff to us. And at the end of the day, we're winning as fans because we have all these options. So I know they're gonna have a great show. Yep. Ms. Jessam saying, I hope to see you guys at the con. I wish. I'm over here in San Francisco. It's not in the cards for this year, but I'm hoping soon. Have you thought about it? Is that something that came up on your radar at all, Jay?
Yeah, I
With
think
Legion's Con?
I think it was I literally was talking about it with, actually, you and I were talking about it a little while ago.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, and who else was there? It wasn't Oz. Oh yeah, now I remember. I was talking to Thundercats Classics collector. What's it called?
Oh, that's right. It was Carlos and
yeah, Carlos and Jorge.
Is it Jorge? Yeah.
Yeah, Jorge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a badass collector and what's it called? Toy addicts on
Yep.
YouTube. Yeah, and we were discussing the situation with Val Staples actually. I don't know if you and I talked about that, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So
PowerCon. Mm-hmm.
we were all talking about what's 2025, because 2024 is up in the air right now.
Yep.
So we were discussing that, and I've run multiple conventions on my own, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I feel that Val should not postpone. I think that he should definitely do something smaller. And
Yep.
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with downsizing. There really isn't. A lot of people consider downsizing a failure. No, it's not. Downsizing is a result of multiple factors, right? Downsizing is a result of the rent being too expensive. Downsizing is the result of understanding your market and how many people you can fit in a location, right? Downsizing, honestly, it's sometimes it's for the better, right? Especially if you have the support of the toy community and and when we were there this year, it was amazing, the camaraderie and all these wonderful toy companies, whether they be boutique companies or just up and coming customizers or even small, really small toy companies, just showing the support for PowerCon. And you know what, it would be I think it would be because there's just so much support going out there. I think Val should definitely do something much smaller, not just a meetup. I think that's
Yep.
not good. A meetup would not be good. I think you need to do a small show, like just go back to your roots. Start something small, get everybody all galvanized to come back, and you'd be surprised. All of a sudden, a small show, when it begins, starts to really get some traction, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, we got to go back to the venue and see if they have anything slightly bigger than what we'd planned for. Anyway,
Yeah.
For me, that's a big thing, and I hope Val considers it, because it would be a shame.
I do too, and there's other folks here who are like, yeah, they need it. That's right around Ted's. What's up, Ted? Corner, right? That's in his neighborhood.
I met I met Ted and Hello Dope Toys. Wonderful guys. If guys, you should definitely check out Hello Dope Toys. Also, I will say that for the original question, because I kind of glossed over it.
Yes.
I would love to go to
Legions.
to Legion Con. It's November, if I'm not mistaken. As long as it doesn't snow, I could probably drive there. I mean, it's
that's what you were saying the other day on the stream,
right? I mean, if C. Justin is heading down, I'm pretty sure they're driving. They're not going. Well, no, they'll probably take a plane. I don't know. It's fine either way. From what I understand, the airport at New Jersey, I've been told. I can only say hearsay here, but I've been told that it's one of the. It's not
the worst. I think it's. Yeah, it came up on your stream.
That was the comment that was there. The worst. Yeah. I'm like, how bad could it be? I mean, seriously. Pearson International Airport doesn't even have a mall. Well, that's not entirely true, but I mean, like, it does have some shopping, but it's not the friendliest airport in the world. It's also, by the way, here's a fun fact about Canada. Pearson International Airport is the most expensive airport in the world. Between gas and all of the additional charges that every airport has to pay when they land in Pearson, it is the most expensive airport in the world. It's ridiculous. Just so there we go.
Yeah, well, if you can make it, that would be amazing. Because I'm really just excited about the attention that I think a lot of these Toylands that I'm loving are getting, and I think I would just I encourage it. There's gonna be a lot of toy tubers there too. I know a couple of the Toy Amigos will be there. Oz is gonna be there. There's a ton of folks that I know are heading out there, so it's gonna be really interesting. Toy Bros there covers it, regularly. So
it really will boil down to budget. Things have been rough.
100%.
I haven't been shy about talking about the design market right now for what I do. I do freelance design and websites. It hasn't been easy this last quarter. So I'd be lying if I said I can go anywhere I want. That's not true, right? So I mean, I'd love to. I would definitely love to, but it's not Right now, it's not the cards. Right now, it's not.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you know who will be there, and I did not skip your comment on purpose. 1/6 shooter Trevor Williams, who shoots all of the amazing photos for the Four Horsemen, and I was just showing off some of his AWOC photos this morning over on Weird Fantastic Toys. They're actually going to have Legion. They're going to have CJSM on Legion's Lounge tomorrow because they're doing kind of a series of exactly this, like bringing on folks who are going to be at Legion's Con, and kind of just giving us, the folks, the audience, like a taste of what's going to be there. So definitely Legion's Lounge over on the 1/6 shooter channel. I will be in the chat, as I often am. So go check it out, and it'll be great to sort of hear from Christian and Ms. Jessim there. All right, we should move on. You're familiar with Masters of the Universe, and I know you've seen this already.
You know what?
You've seen this, yeah. You know, he's like, what's
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What is Masters of the Universe? What is it?
MOTU something? And I just wanted to quickly highlight this. This is just, you know, this episode came out recently, just this week, and it's beautiful stop motion. Just they've been doing this series of animations, and I'm totally blanking. If you can help, that would be great. If someone, or Oz, because I know Oz interviewed them, or him and their team in sorry,
yeah, it's Justin Rash.
Thank you. Yeah. And what's the name of the studio?
Justin Rash Animation.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. There's like behind the scenes stuff on some of their other work in the past, and I've just love, again, just like I love hearing the Nikki Nicole talk about painting, and I'm gonna love hearing CJSM talk a little bit about how they create their soft goods. I really appreciated the stuff that I found from the creators of this, kind of going through some of how they've staged things and shoot things, and the meticulous like attention to detail, and even building sets where they can kind of get under, like, you know, Jim Henson and company had to do back in the day.
Yeah, actually, Oz is correct. The YouTube channel is called Justin Rash Animation, but the company apparently is called Stunt Puppet Pictures. So
there you go. There you go.
Oz has that correctly, actually.
Okay, family company. And yeah, and it's Stunt Puppet Pictures. Oz and the Toy Frenzy folks interviewed Stunt Puppet a while back on a show. Definitely go look for that.
Yeah, I did a whole breakdown of this video on my channel. Yep. I'm always watching these wonderful videos. It's like watching early Rankin and Bass from back in the day. But obviously much more elaborate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have obviously new techniques. They can use After Effects and so many different things to augment some of the morphing effects. You know, some of the in betweens. A lot of the stuff that's happening in between, they actually, you know, utilize those techniques to get it done. And yeah, I did a bit of a slowdown showing. Literally, it looks like they were spray painting them as they were doing the animation. It was a lot of fun, right? So
to do the stone effect,
it was just so good. And you can see the what's it called, the cotton that they use for the smoke effect, right?
How cool is that?
So much fun. Yeah.
So I will definitely put a link to your video in that series of links too, to check your sort of breakdown, because I know you do such a great job of walking us through that stuff.
I don't know if it's a great job, but I like to geek out over it, just like you said, right? So
that's
I say
that's what I mean by great job. Enthusiasm, man, joy, like love. That's
I really enjoy watching these things, right? And then, you know, a little further on, well, actually right here, we'll see Lady Slither morph into her bipedal form. She literally just take him by the neck, then she morphs using claymation, which is so much fun. You know what I mean? Like the actual claymation morph. It's just really cool watching the whole thing and breaking it down. It's really a lot of fun.
And there was where she actually has legs in the beginning and then gets her snake mode too. So I'll leave that to folks to go back and watch and to go check out your video. But good stuff, absolutely good stuff. And for me, it was like, this is it. Remember when we were kids and we saw that commercial, those commercials,
absolutely.
man, I miss those days. But
100%. Yeah.
I'm so happy they're doing them. I hope they keep doing them. I know it's a lot, but man, keep paying Stun Puppet. Let's go.
I remember the first time. You know what? And I'm wondering because I remember the first time I saw the very first Justin Rash video, and I don't even know if he was paid to do that. I'm thinking that he just kind of my level of thinking at the time was he just kind of did that for fun, and
Mhm.
it got so much hype around that time because Master Universe Origins was just so huge,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I think that Mattel noticed and they're like, "Oh crap, we got to hire this guy, right? And we got to do something with him." And they became so much more elaborate after that. It was crazy, but
Mhm.
I could be wrong. They might have hired him right from the get go, right? So it's all good. All of it's good.
Either way, I'm glad they're sticking with the team and giving us some solid stuff. This is a series, folks, so definitely check it out. But we should move on. Spark, I featured these before, but I saw Josh Brown had additional photos that I hadn't seen. But not going to spend a whole lot of time. I just wanted to share because so many of these great new things that are popping up just kind of like fade. I know a little bit because it's still one early, and I don't even know the deal because I reached out to Arlen Pelletier. Who designed this as well as a lot of the figures. I think you've got one right behind you. That Serpentor right behind you was one of his. So Arlen designed that, and so he shared these on his site and was like, "Yeah, here's a new line," and then sort of said like, "Thank you to Fresh Monkey Fiction for showing it with their things back in like." I forget the earlier show, but then also at PowerCon. So it's unclear as to whether this is his personal pet project. Oops, sorry. Because you'll see like his name as the studio and not really Fresh Monkey Fiction. But either way, so you'll see it here again. It's right in front of Fresh Monkey's Monster Force, but it's on their table, but labeled Arlen Pelletier's studio. He says, some reveals of what I've been working on in my spare time. But again, so thank you to Bill, Fresh Monkey Fiction, for letting me show my stuff. And I hadn't gotten an answer back from him as to whether or not this is going to be released by Fresh Monkey or what. Either way, the designs are out there. Again, just stepping, putting out there like what's possible in figures. Like, I don't know. I just geek out on this kind of stuff. Really cool designs. Oops, this will be more to these two here, and then you'll see the Monster Force in the back.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have heard of Monster Force with Fresh Monkey Fiction, right?
Yep.
But these ones here, the Spark, I actually haven't seen these yet. They do look amazing, and like you said, are they a new pet project for Arlen or is it something else, right? And
yeah,
I love his work here on Serpentor. He looks absolutely stunning, right?
Gorgeous figure.
As far as I know, it's one of the largest GI Joes. He towers over everybody.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, wonderful designs. So looking very forward to learning more about Spark.
And it's so cool that again, these designers, like we're getting to know their names. I don't, as a kid, we didn't know who was making these toys, and it, gives them a little bit of a shine and opportunity to do these kinds of things. So that's Spark.
It's weird how toy designers are not becoming rock stars. You know what I mean? Like
a little bit, at least to us, right? To us who follow.
I mean, I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I really appreciate is companies like NECA actually putting the designers' names on the boxes. That's really, really cool, right? That's never happened before, right? Before, Mattel would just put out a toy and Bob's your uncle, right? But
work for
now
hire.
we have now we have the actual naming credit on box art. That's unheard of, right? And
I think more companies need to do that.
Yeah.
People. Anyway. But yeah, I agree. Just like, Trevor was in the thing, like awesome seeing his shots. Nate Barsh at Four Horsemen, Eamon O'Donoghue, like we know them, right? And we appreciate their work. So I agree. We need to get more of that. Speaking of toy designers, really just sort of like working on their thing. Were you ever a Micronauts guy, Jay?
I remember Micronauts. I don't know if I was ever a Micronauts guy though. Like,
okay.
Collecting. When you're a kid, everything's a blur, right? Yeah. The next every Christmas you get something new and shiny. I mean, that's just
the lucky ones.
The way toys
Absolutely.
are, right? But I do remember Micronauts. I do remember probably having a few of them. And now they're just this legendary toy brand that kind of another flash in the pan, right? That we were talking about, right? So
yep.
came gone. and now everyone's like, oh, Micronauts, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, that was definitely one of those that was a little bit before my time, but for some reason, my brother and I ended up with this box, this mysterious box that he and I to this day can't really figure out where they came from. We're assuming, because it was a hand-me-down box, we're assuming it must have been our uncles maybe who gave it to us, filled with Micronauts. And, you know, for me and my Lego fix and my love of, you know, Four Horsemen, where I can, of Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, where I can pop off heads and arms, came from Micronauts. Absolutely. Because these were totally modular toys. And well, so I bring that up because it hasn't quite gotten the same sort of like toy renaissance love that some of the other lines are. And a lot of that has to do with Hasbro's kind of sketchy treatment of the IP. They bought it. They said they were going to do something with it, and they're just basically sitting on it, just like ROM. So that kind of sucks. But then here you got Fanigan, or he goes by Abe Froman, also the Sausage King of Chicago from Ferris Bueller. He's really on this like crusade. Him and his son, they're kind of a tag team. Him and Xander have been working on like really trying to create their own sort of like new version of Micronauts based on a very similar design, but like with as far as the articulation goes. And so, you know, it's all 3D printed stuff. They're just prototyping, like trying to see what can we do to kind of like help reignite interest in this thing. And that's what you're seeing here. And I'll kind of just quickly show. These are vintage Micronauts and Microman. A lot of people don't realize that Micronauts shares DNA with the Transformers, right? It was initially all Takara, and that eventually, so they did Microman in Japan, and that got bought out by Mego or licensed by Mego to make toys here, and that became what we now know as Micronauts. Marvel was in the deal to create stories, and the rest is history. And then, so they pulled from Takara's Microman, which also some of that stuff became Transformers along with Diaclone. And what you're seeing here are some of the more modern ones. So where does Fanigan come in? Well, Fanigan has been, again, prototyping and creating these, essentially right now, custom figures in the hopes of trying to get some interest. I don't know if you're familiar with Vitruvian Hacks by Boss Fight Studios. But they released a sort of tribute, unlicensed tribute, not Micronauts at all, Micronauts like figure. And so Fanigan, Abe Froman, was like, hey, you know, we could kind of really go along with some of the designs and plus them to give you these sort of parts here. Oh, what are they called? The something engine. Oh my God, bad Micronauts fan. But, you know, and propose to them, hey, what if we did these, and kind of worked in some of that stuff. All that to say is, like, I'm just a fan. Again, I'm a fan of Micronauts. I would love to see these, you know, take off again. But, you know, you've covered Ramen and sort of how Ramen's tried to like create maybe a Masters of the Universe figure, or show it off at PowerCon and see if it gets interest. That's kind of the same thought process going on with this. But
yeah, I mean, so, you know, Ace is going to do what Ace is going to do. Like I've been a huge supporter of Ramen. I really have. Like you know, they're doing properties which I've always loved as a kid, and you know, would love to see brought back to realization. But you know, if you got to call a spade, he's not. He's going outside. You know, like slightly outside of the, you know, what's considered legal, right?
Slightly.
So,
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I hear you.
We're not gonna. We can't really candy coat that. There's no real other way to put that, right? But what he's doing is catching people's attention, right? That's one thing. And it really sucks because he's tried, you know, in conversations with Ace, he's tried going the licensing route. But
the legit
he's either been giving the go fuck yourself price, right? Which is just, you know, for a small boutique company, it's just not possible, right? Or he's been told flat out no, right? And that does happen, right?
Can I just make sure, because I've heard you speak about this, I want to make sure folks are following the go F yourself price, literally saying, yeah, you can license it for a ridiculous amount of money.
Just like,
so essentially
$2 million, right? And it's like, in order for me to use $2 million, like, I'd have to sell tens of thousands of these things, right? So the companies themselves are choosing to just say, yeah, if you like pay to play kind of thing, and maybe if you do a good job, maybe if it actually hits the sales numbers that we're expecting you to hit or want you to hit, then maybe we'll come back and maybe we'll have a better price for you. But we know for a fact that there are people out there who have connections who can get you a better deal, right?
Yes.
But then there's that it's the devil kind of situation, right? So
Mhm.
Ramen and Ace being the way they are, they're choosing just to try something, see if they can catch an audience, and see
Mhm.
if they can impress people, right? Um, is it working? I don't know. At least with one project that we are all very well aware of, it's captured the imagination and the attention of Marvel fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but you know, um, that was a matter of circumstance, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to get
Yeah.
loyalty from that? It's hard to say.
It is.
So my and I have spoken with Ace about this, and it would be really nice if he had one IP, one group, someone who has a comic book, somebody who has something else, right? That
Yep.
can just say, "Hey, I want to make a toy line. Let's talk," right? But
Yep.
but it's so hard these days because again, the money involved is not small.
Yep.
We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars just to get started.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So it has to be the right partner. It has to be somebody who's really invested in or interested in actually getting a toy line made, right? So
Yep.
the possibilities are there, and there are a lot of companies out there who are doing the same thing. So it's possible he might find somebody who can work with him, and who knows, Micronauts might become a thing. You never know.
I hope so. I mean, at the very least, man, they're doing more work than Hasbro was to at least like keep it in the attention. And again, that's a Hasbro call. That's how this the copyright structure and intellectual property is sort of worked here, right? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it favors the wealthy, for those with deep pockets to be able to snatch up these things and sit on them.
I think that's I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not
Mhm,
disagreeing
mhm,
with
mhm.
you, Barrick. But I will say
But if
this.
you are, it's cool. Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Uh-huh.
If you need money to make money. That's the
Yes.
old adage
Yep.
that
It
will
is.
never go away. However, I
Mhm.
will say this. Um, if you're someone with a dream and you feel that your dream is worth it, going to these shows, making websites, Kickstarter, okay? And this is actually where I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm actually
Yeah.
kind of giving you, the credence here. I think Kickstarter has changed the game.
It
You know what I
has.
mean?
You're right.
Kickstarter has changed the game,
Yep.
right? We no longer have to be $1 billion company. You don't have to be rich anymore. You don't
Mhm.
have to do that, right? Spiro Toys is a really good example of
Yeah.
what is
That's
possible,
right.
right? Because
Yep.
the like going out and saying to people, "Hey, I've got a product which I think you guys will love," and then you put it out there, you advertise it, Hexastack. It didn't re- it well, there were things that happened in Hexastack that really should have happened in the beginning, but we can talk about that until the cows come home. But it's a certain number of things that need to be put in place to actually have a successful Kickstarter. But if all the stars align, if everything comes into position just the right way, magic can happen, right? If you
Yep.
catch a whole bunch of toy tubers and they feature you on their channel,
Right.
things happen. I mean, a huge shout out to the Foosh and Robo for
Yes.
featuring many of these smaller brands. Because I think that the Plunderlings, Spiro Toys, all these guys, not that they weren't doing well already, but I think that they got a big boost from being featured on the Foosh and
Yep.
other toy tubers, and it was just again, it's a microcosm, right? We are living in a small bubble here for the toy community, and we all got to
Totally.
help each other. So that's again, you don't have
And
to be rich. You don't have to.
you just revealed why I largely do news and why I feature folks like Fan again, because I want people to know and like get, whatever for whatever tiny corner of the toy tube, universe that I have influence over, like, hey. And so here we go, here we go. And the other people have their thoughts on what else could be sort of revived. Absolutely. Um, Exo Squad, man. Okay. On that note, just talking about things that like I would love people to see, let's talk art for a little bit. Because geeky things come in all shapes and forms, and sometimes they are not plastic. Octoarm is someone that I got turned on to just this week, and I know you've gone on to Geek the F Out to talk about Ahsoka. I know you're a big Star Wars guy. I'm a big Star Wars guy. What excited me this week when I saw Octoarm was, hey, some Ahsoka stuff. Gorgeous. Just like I too, you know, I've dabbled in creating visual art, illustration, paintings, and so I appreciate just talent of folks like well beyond what I could ever do. And it's so cool to kind of see these characters take on life. You know, we just got introduced to these two new characters, Balin and Shin, brand new, but there are folks like Octoarm who are embracing them and just putting it out there and getting all sorts of love for it. So I wanted to help that. Check out folks Octoarm's Instagram, because you heard me say it about Nikki Nicole, and wanted to hear from C. Jessam about their process. I love process, man. I love, for example, talking to you about like, hey, how do you do your videos? How do you do your channel? I love that stuff. I love soaking it in. So, and you know, with programs like since people are moving digital, like Procreate, I'm assuming maybe on that, yeah, it is Procreate. You can draw, you don't think about it, and then it'll spit out these cool videos. Just want to show folks, not necessarily needing a whole lot of chatter about it, but and sorry, spoiler alert, if you're wondering, there may or may not be a blue outfit in space, but check it out. Just cool stuff. So that's Octoarm. That's all. Did you ever draw as a kid, or still do? You're a designer, right?
You know what, Brick. I wish I kept up with my drawing. I used to love to draw.
Okay.
I used to love to draw. I used to draw so many things. I was into. I love anime. I still love anime, even today. And I used to draw whatever I could, whenever I could. I have a whole bunch of sketchbooks which I've kept from time, and people who get to see them, we can laugh at them now, but honestly, I was not that bad. I've been like, I'm terrible now. Like I couldn't draw anything to save my life right now. Well, that's probably not true, but I really wish I had kept it up. But you have to, as your career starts, you know this as well as anybody, as your career starts to move, these things, you have to prioritize what you do, right?
Yeah.
And I really wish that I had actually just kept it up a little bit, tried different things. But yeah, I wanted to be an animator when I was a kid. I wanted to learn how to do that. I produced 2 comic books with 2 different artists. And and it's again,
are those lost to time, or
those are I have a freaking room full of them, but because again, they didn't really sell, right?
Well, okay.
Maybe one day we'll have a look at them on your channel.
Man, I gotta bring you on again another time to talk more deeply about your past. I would love to hear that.
Well, you know what, my past is my past.
And the good past. We'll talk about the good stuff.
There's no, there is no bad stuff. I mean, like sure. You learn things, okay? Like things that happen to you, right? Things that happen to you, that you take them as learning experiences.
Appreciate
right? Like,
that.
I failed multiple times. Failure is the greatest teacher. Okay,
absolutely.
Let me tell you. Okay, like I've been involved in conventions which are now like 50,000, 60,000 people strong, right?
Yeah.
I still have people who I know from those conventions. I'm still invited to go back there whenever I want, but that's the past. Those days are long gone now, right? So and I wasn't expecting to become a toy tuber. I thought this was going to be just a cachet of memories for anime and cartoons, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, life moves. It's the ebb and flow of life. Things change. So
very cool. Okay, well, we're getting a little glimpse again. I hope someday to have a longer conversation, maybe on a stream, and sort of hear a little bit
Brick,
more about it.
we have to meet one day. You know what I mean?
I'm
hoping to make it out to San Diego again next year. I love going to San Diego. Beautiful city. Forget just the convention. The city itself is just wonderful. The weather is incredible. Not too hot, not too humid. right on the lake, ocean, I guess. But yeah,
Yep.
right on the ocean. Just a beautiful thing. They have a battleship parked in the bay. Great stuff. You know what I mean? And they have the comic book museum now from Comic-Con, right? So a lot of things to do. The whole city transforms, as you know, Brick. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
one day we should definitely all. I think
That
yeah,
sounds good.
Jay for Geek Dead Life is the same thing. Everybody's it was like, oh, you should come back because again, I was there like four years in a row
Yep.
before I started doing this toy tube thing, and yeah, it was so much fun. Now that I do it, I think meeting other people there of the same interests would be awesome, right? So
Yep. Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You're right. San Diego probably is a great place. San Diego is just it's a big thing. All right, let's start to zoom out here and yeah, land the plane, if you will. Super Dave reviews photos. I would love to highlight, and I don't know if this was maybe the one that caught your eye. I didn't. Earlier you said you just saw something.
I saw something. I don't know what I saw.
Yeah.
But I saw
So
something. So.
this is new to me too, and so Super Dave, I'll just show this, and again in the
Yeah, that's what I saw.
that's what I thought.
I just saw
He
it was a
also
glimpse, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Super Dave also has a YouTube channel, so pretty new to me. So let's show
Right.
it.
So fun stuff. Super Dave. If anybody doesn't know what Super Dave is in reference to, I'm imagining it's Super Dave. Super Dave Osborne was an amazing show back in the '80s.
Yep.
So, wow, that's some great stuff.
A riff on Evil Knievel, was it?
Evil Knievel, yeah.
Yeah.
Evil
Yeah.
Knievel.
Yeah. So
That's a wonderful pan. Yeah, that's a wonderful pan. I love it.
I was just
It's
like,
great.
wow, like I'm a sucker for obviously like just cool action figures.
Yeah.
But I too have sort of like been into this collecting particularly like women action figures because you and I grew up in a time where like they were few and far between in our toy lines, right? And but they were all over the entertainment. They were in the comics and cartoon. They just didn't quite make it.
Yeah,
And so I
we
love
grew up in a
this.
time, Brick, where boys did not play with dolls, right? And
That was the conventional
that
wisdom.
that
Yeah.
was the thing. And you know what? It's
Mm.
it's a damn shame because looking back at the Princess of Power line, you could tell Mattel was trying to do a cross type of branding with their Master Universe and Barbie. They were trying to
Mhm,
meld the
mhm,
two
mhm,
together into to an action adventure girls line, right?
mhm.
And it didn't quite capture the market they were expecting. And the thing is that as a young boy back in the '80s, I was like, these are dolls. They got hair, they've got combs, they've got they're it's a whole girl team, right? But
Yep, yep,
I loved Shira. I loved Shira and the
yep.
the Princess of Power. I love that cartoon. I
Mhm,
loved it to
mhm.
death. But what I've collected the toy line, no. There was just they weren't what was in the cartoon. That was the
Yep.
problem. They didn't
No,
look
I
the
hear that
way.
in terms of matching with the
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was my problem. They didn't like as a kid, I needed to associate and okay, we can talk all
Well,
day long about how
yeah,
cartoons
we
were just
could.
big commercials
Yeah,
for toys, right? But that was bullshit.
yeah.
Okay. The value that cartoons brought to kids, the entertainment value alone was huge. The messages that were in the PSAs that were presented were not lost. You know what I
Yep,
mean? Like I
yep,
used to stick around for the PSAs. I know a lot of people are like I never watched the PSA. I watched them all. I
yep.
love the cartoons so much that you know what it didn't matter. I thought it was really fun and campy and learning about the lessons that were actually in the story, which I already figured out. But the reinforcement of that was fun. Um,
Totally.
and actually see when we started getting into like adult collectibles like I argue if McFarlane was really one of the ones outside of the Japanese connection because the Japanese never shied away from female figures. As a matter of fact, they championed them, right?
Yep.
So if you were an anime collector back in the day, you already had exposed to a lot of great female action figures. Whereas with Master Universe and with all these other toy lines, DC and Spawn, and those were the ones where I first realized. I think this North American company, this Canadian company, is trying to bring toys to the market, right? So that was really cool, and now we see the fruits of those early efforts. You know what I mean? Now it's an acceptable thing to have female action figures, and in some cases going to a complete left field. You know, with what's it called? Coffin. What are they called again?
Great Gravestone Guardians.
Is it Gravestone Guardians? No, I don't think it's Coffin. No, I was talking about Lady Death and Vampirella.
Oh, so these folks, the Loose Collector.
Yeah, Loose Collect. That's
toys?
right. Loose Collect.
Yeah,
That's what it was. Yeah,
this
there's
Red
Red
Sonja.
Sonja.
Yep.
Yeah, Red Sonja.
Again,
Yeah.
another Pinoy toy maker, but yes,
There you go. So with Loose Collector, right? They're trying their best, and you know, I tip my hat to them because a lot of people give them a lot of flack. It's hard to make female toys because if you want to stick to the aesthetic of the way a female figure in a cartoon looks, you know, just these outrageous proportions. The elbows and the knees, they're so thin, right? They're so thin, and it can barely hold the weight of the character, right? It's not like Angela there, who's got bipedal feet, demonic feet. You know what I mean? Like who can hold the weight of her character, right? That's not how that works. We're talking about if you look at the Red Sonja action figure there, you know, she's on these tiny little stiletto heels, right?
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible to get that pose without putting some sticky tack on the figures, right? Now, the one that caught me. No, that's good. That's exactly.
No, it's just the music. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. No, exactly. Now, the one that actually caught my attention is that custom She-Man figure. That was like, I was like, okay, somebody customized that. That's really cool, right? Now
that's the figure that caught my attention too, and that's the figure I want.
Yeah, because I can already tell what was kit bashed from what. You know what I mean? Exactly.
I was like, "What's the recipe for that thing?"
Yeah, I know. So I can tell a lot of what's already been kit bashed here, except her. Like she's the only one that I'm kind of off with. Like that's a Golden Axe figure with Teela's head.
It's a Golden Axe figure, yeah.
Right?
Tyrus Flare
with Teela's head.
Yep.
But everything else is more or less vanilla.
It's what came with them, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Except I think Siri is slightly different as well. I think Siri is a bit of a kit bash as well.
Let me illuminate you because I just learned this too. That one, so he reached out and answered me. It's actually from Premier Artifacts Studio, and it's Prema Gupta out of I believe it's India. And so it's a toy customizers. They make custom figs.
SWAT
and
cats.
So yes, SWAT cats, right? And so again, here it is, Prem Gupta. They do their commission work as well. I am in love with this Lord Shiva figure that so I'm gonna, you can tell it's a master base build, right? I mean, master verse build.
Yep.
And then this is probably a Marvel Legends build. Oh yeah, it is. It's oh my gosh, I forget his name. The Archer from Guardians. Maybe not,
Mondu?
but it looks like that.
Yondu.
Yeah, it looks like it's built on that with some sort of maybe like sculpted epoxy or something on here.
Yeah,
maybe not.
The comic Yondu.
Yep, the OG comic, some soft goods.
Yeah,
but yeah, I was excited to find this and sort of added this kind of last minute for those of you who are looking for a hooded Cobra Commander. They're everywhere. They're out there.
They are.
But yeah, again, all over the world, man. International, because of the internet and all sorts of, other developments. Like there are people all over the world who are doing amazing work. And here we are in North America on a live stream talking about it. Like what is this world that we're living in, man? So yeah, so they made that custom figure for Super Dave. So I'm gonna hunt it down because I'm really into it.
Yeah. And okay. I recognize the pardon me. I recognize the model because oh gosh, I had it from before. Yeah, I was basically there's an image floating around of She-Man there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it before. I just it's hard for me to like. Again, it's right in the back of my head. But anyway, it's all good.
So good. Okay, We've got to wind down. We are running a little bit later than but it's cool, man. I really appreciate you being here. There was just
Anytime.
one thing, and I'm going to skip ahead, that I really wanted to do sort of for our main kind of like featured thing to look at. And so that brings us to the sort of what I call the "That's What's Up" section, because this is a customizer that a lot of people know about. So I'm not, but I just want to share this because I think you and I have similar pop cultural touchstones, and I think you might appreciate some of this stuff. This is Empire Toy Works, and this is the Kit Bash king as far as I'm concerned. You can sort of see this is a company called a ship that he calls the Gut Bucket, and you can see it as just a Kit Bash and references and nods to some of the stuff like that we grew up with. This is like a Weyland Yutani, maybe like something out of Aliens. We've got this massive.
It sort of reminds me of a Warhammer 40,000.
Definitely,
Like
yep.
There's
the level of greebling and detail. 1138 there being a nerdy Lucasfilm, THX reference. So obviously it's a Millennium Falcon, but you see some of these other things that get transformed from modern Mattel offerings from the Lightyear movie that went on clearance and became this stuff here. And so I just talk about creativity, like unleashed. I don't know, man. I geek out on this stuff.
Yeah. The level of customization here is just absolutely bonkers. Like, wow. And you know what? It really does give you shades of heavy metal. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And a lot of
yes,
a lot of cyberpunk kind of like attitudes,
yes.
right? And you know what? To a certain extent, it's kind of like how James Gunn has really brought an aesthetic to Guardians of the Galaxy and Ragnarok with
excellent call. Yep.
What's his name there?
Taika.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. Yeah. Again, they're all bringing this into this new realization of a different world.
Totally.
Right?
Blade Runner's up in here, right? Some Sid Mead design sensibility. There's a Mogwai in a cage. Yeah, man, I love this. So this is the ship. This is, I believe, his sort of character, his representation of himself. You can see it's pulled from like Marvel Legends figures and other pieces. He's got the Weyland Yutani logo hat from Alien and Aliens. Got a Battlestar Galactica there. Like this is the stuff of my dreams, man. This black hole. You've got Lost in Space. You got Buck Rogers. You've got a Doctor Who spinoff. A little bit of DJ Rex. Now DJ Rex, Star Tours Rex. This stuff. And so this is part of this. There's I don't know if you'd call it a movement or a world where folks build space stations. And so they kind of own their own space stations and they kind of like create worlds. So what you're seeing here are just, they're literally doing world building, like physically making these things and creating worlds, but they're part of these larger space stations. So you get these cool little vignettes in the stations. A little bit of Twilight Zone, using those reaction toys to the fullest. A little bit of Golden Girls. So some of these are not part of a space station. A little bit of Sice Noodles. Nick. And some of these are toys that exist that he just kit bashes and paints and like I know I've shown you, like shared with you and the folks tonight, a lot of really cool customizers and painters. The thing is, there's no shortage of them. It's like they're just all out there, and it blows me away. Even the photography on this, it's like this person is looking at angles, this person's looking at like, how do I mise en scène, like how do I kind of create the space? And okay, but here's the deal, to give you a sense of what I mean by the world. There's the same character. You're getting a hint at what's going on. You see some stuff in the background. You've got some Marvel Legends Sentinel. Yep. Man, this is Blade Runner. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Again, he's world building. He's world building in his own head, right? So
yeah,
it's just gorgeous. Like he's got dioramas going on. Oh my god!
Exactly.
Holy crap! That's crazy. Is that
yes,
real?
Thank you, Jay. I was hoping. I was like,
real?
Man, if I don't get a single holy crap today. Out of J, I'm gonna be disappointed. I
Oh my
got my
God.
holy crap, people.
That's crazy.
Yes,
That's
the
real, huh?
desired effect. That is
Holy shit.
real. This is his room. This is his space station. And imagine the hours put into this. And you can say, I did that. That's my world.
Oh
Not
my
only
God.
did I play with these toys and buy them, but like I crafted and made and put blood, sweat, tears, into this.
Yeah, but I
Good. Okay,
I
good. I
love the
got a holy
lighting.
crap.
I love all the little LEDs
Here.
that had to go into
There you
that.
go.
Like, it's just, again, it's this world building kind of
Yeah.
wow.
Can you imagine being there and like shooting content and just filming around and like
I'd be scared to fall over. I'd be scared to fall over. Like, honestly,
well, he
I'd
can do
want to
it.
lean.
He
I'd want to
does it.
lean in. I want to lean in and just look and just oogle and I would be like, somebody. I need a force field to hold me. It's like, oh my God, that's just absolutely
Beautiful, right?
bonkers.
It's thank you. And yes, again, pulling from some of my favorite things, right? When Blade Runner came out, Sid Mead and Stanley Kubrick kind of put together this world. They like really almost like blueprinted. I know other writers and stuff came up with cyberpunk, but they really visually brought that to the mainstream, and you see it just continuing here. I love the signage mixed with the like, they got windmills going on here, and then the figures, the toys, right? Think about like our toys
Yeah,
come to life.
yeah, yeah. It's like they can move. You know what I mean? It's just this wonderful. Yeah, it's a wonderful playground. Like yeah, holy crap! Like,
Yeah, I got a holy
ridiculous.
crap.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and obviously not a one-trick pony because like he can build another worlds. He can do Tatooine with the best of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And not like we
But
don't
it's
have enough of Tatooine, but
it's his own aesthetic too. You know what I mean? Like it's I mean, it's familiar. It's different. It's familiar yet different at the same time. It's
yeah.
awesome. Right.
Okay, here.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's just nuts. And
I'll take an oh wow and crazy.
I can see Spaceballs in there. You know what I mean? I can see Dino Riders. I can see Weyland Yutani is right there. I mean, like,
he's working for the corporation,
oh my
man.
God,
The company. Sorry, the company. He's working for the company.
that is ridiculous. How do you find these things, Rick?
I was just nerding out. Other nerds. Toy domination. Dom is really big into this guy's work and the whole like there's a word for it. People might be dropping in the chat. Sorry, I'm just giddy that I got a holy crap. But this is that Mattel dinosaur, man. This is Jurassic Park built on top.
Yeah.
Either the Dreadnoughtus or the Gigantosaurus, I forget which, but like you see the riveting going on, the paint job.
Yeah. No, it's gorgeous.
Man, like, and so in my mind, I don't know who pays attention. I don't know if these companies pay attention, but like what's great about this is that if you're a toy fan and you're looking at this stuff, I do think it ratchets it up a little bit. There's a little bit of an arms race where it's like, oh man, that's cool. I know things can like look cool. Like, hey, toy companies, let's see what you can do. I don't know. I don't know if that actually pans out, but
see, not every toy company is a NECA though, right? I mean, like,
sure, right.
The level of intricacy here for the paint, just the deco alone is.
Yep.
And that's a mystery. I've always wondered which warehouse NECA uses because. Sorry, warehouse. Factory. Which manufacturer NECA uses because what they show on their paint masters 9 times like I think I would say 80%, 85%.
Yeah,
it comes to market. It's really that's high, because and not saying anything. I love Super 7, but what their paint masters often do not show. What their releases are. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, that's definitely the Spaceballs van, but it's been hyped up with a mega thruster. I mean, like that's just great.
Barf. Absolutely, and I heard you on NECA in particular. It's amazing what they can do. Same with the Horsemen. They just I've always said this. I want to be a fly in the wall in the Four Horsemen like production facility and just see how they achieve that. Like, who's painting this shadow on this part of the chest? Who's like how does that get done? Because it's done with such fidelity, man. It's gorgeous. Anyway, with this thing, I kind of almost, if the companies are watching, like, even if they're like not feeling any pressure to maybe up their game to achieve something close to this, it doesn't matter, right? If you're Mattel, you're going, cool, we'll keep selling more dinosaurs. Just, keep buying them and tearing them up. We'll make you a canvas.
That's the thing about them, though. Like I'm famous now. Well, not famous, but I'm known for saying that they'll never make, at least in my own opinion, they'll never make
Dino Riders.
they'll never make Dino Riders
Yeah,
as long as they
I remember
have
you saying that.
Jurassic Park.
I hear you.
The two would cannibalize each other's markets. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just would not. It's not conducive of business for them, right? So that's it's.
I agree
shame.
with you.
It's a shame, but
I agree with you.
an actual reality. That's just the reality of the situation.
I will say, so long as it sells well. The second it doesn't sell well, they'll probably want to try and figure out a way to.
There's always going to be
Yep.
there's always going to be a pivot point that everyone
Yep.
will reach, right? But
No.
it is what it is. So anyway,
I want to just quickly, if you can't, folks, if you didn't notice, there's also this one leg that's been replaced by an at style like appendage at the. And it's just, fascinating imagination, and it fuels me, it inspires me, and that's what's up, man. Toys. So that's what's up. You know what else is what's up? This is what else. This guy, Mega J Retro. I'd always like to end and talk a little bit about our guests, but here's the deal. Like, my tiny little slice of YouTube, like, obviously knows who Mega J is. But, I will tell you this, and I've shared this. This is what I was referencing earlier. I got so excited when I see some of the things here, man. Astro Boy, Gotcha Man. Like, this is the stuff that I love. Is that Deimos?
that's Vanguard Ace, but
Vanguard Ace, Guy King, Grandizer. Yeah, and so I love that about you. I'm just like, when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? Like, I want to know this guy. So I'm just curious, because I know you've been doing this for a while now. Yeah. You've said you've been, so like, you've shifted a little bit. Like, there's a lot of sort of the anime stuff here. How's that sort of journey? How did you get from, covering this stuff and a lot more anime and shifting more to the kind of the toys that we've got going on these days?
Yeah, so when YouTube first started, I had no aspirations of doing anything really. I was deep into my career, and I just like many of us, when you start going into your career, you sort of leave that part of your personality behind, right?
Sure.
You forget about toys, you forget about cartoons, you forget about a lot of things, right? And you
begin adulting.
Yeah, you adult, and you lose a piece of yourself. Like I can honestly say that. And I just sort of dove deep into my career, and I was thinking, okay, you know what, this is who I am now. I gotta do this stuff, right? But when I started getting comfortable, doing what I do, right, my graphic design and web design and motion graphics and video, I remember getting back into anime and getting back into the conventions and things like that, and I started doing a comic book a little bit around that time.
Okay.
And it was a interesting journey. Again, failure is the best teacher. Like making mistakes. So once that started to happen, I realized, you know what? I remember these great things. I remember Star Avengers. I remember Force 5. I remember Grandizer. I remember
yes.
And for those of us who grew up in Ontario, I remember Fables of the Green Forest. I remember Dr. Snuggles. I remember Barba Papa, and cartoons which nobody remembers, right? I remember Rocket Robin Hood. I remember
I don't
the Ralph Bakshi's Spider-Man. I remember Teddy Ruxpin. I remember all these great cartoons from back in the day. Black Star, Shazam from Filmation, Tarzan from Filmation. You know what I mean? I remember Tiger Sharks, Thundercats, He-Man and the Master of the Universe. I remember all these great cartoons. The Fabulous Cities of Gold.
Cities of Gold.
All these crazy cartoons that nobody seems to remember anymore, right?
It's on
So
Nickelodeon over here.
and I was like, it's a shame nobody's even talking about this on YouTube. Nobody's talking about them. So I said,
Yeah.
screw it, I'm going to
Mhm.
talk about this, right? I'm gonna. But at the time, I was like, nobody's going to listen to me. I'm just a little guy in Canada. Nobody cares about what I do. So I said, you know what, screw it. I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this for
Nice.
myself because when
Uh-huh.
I get older and I forget things and I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm drooling at the side of my mouth, somebody will turn on the TV. Do you remember this, Jay? Do you remember when you were doing this? And I'll be like, hey, that's cool. Who is that guy? Because I'm not going to know who I am, right? And you know what? I can relive these moments, and that's what I did. I started putting I started putting all my memories on YouTube and talking about all these crazy cartoons that I remember as a kid.
Yeah.
The New Adventures of Pinocchio. All the great
Oh, I
Rankin and
remember
Bass
that.
cartoons from back in the day.
Mhm.
Actually, you know what, Brick? Check this out. If you go back to the top,
Yep.
if you go back to the top, and you do sort by. Actually, I can't even see it here. Sort by oldest.
Yep.
Yeah, click on that. I think I delisted many of the stuff I originally did, but there you can see like Remembering Force
Who
5,
is
When the
this
Star Adventure.
baby? Sino ba ito?
I know. Bata yan. Yeah, no, that was my first trip to San Diego, actually, in 2016.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so that was my first. So yeah, you guys can watch all my ramblings
I've
about.
seen a lot of these. This is where I went back, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you can look back. You'll probably see some old comments or some comments of me like, "Oh my god, you're talking about this." Stuff.
You know what? It's funny because I do get those comments, but I largely don't respond to those ones anymore because again, it was so long ago,
Yeah.
right? And I really
Yeah,
should,
yeah.
right? And there you can see the Mighty Hercules, Rocket Robin
Uh-huh.
Hood, right? The Barba
See,
Papas,
this one
cartoons
skipped
which
my radar. I'm excited
yeah,
about Rocket Rob. I gotta
yeah,
check that out.
yeah, cartoons which people just don't remember, right? Like Dr.
Mhm.
Snuggles, people don't know what that is. Fables the Green Forest, you know what I mean? Like things like that,
I
things that
don't
really
remember.
meant something to
Yep.
me. The Adventures of the Little Prince. I did a Sesame Street review, like the original Little Mermaid from way back in the day where she kills herself. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like
No, I
things like
remember
that,
that.
right? All the Hans Christian Andersen cartoons,
Yep. By the way,
right?
this is the correct face for this movie review. Thank you. Okay, keep going.
Honestly, it had all the beats.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
the pacing was completely off, right? The original Hobbit, right?
Uh-huh.
Tech the Space Knight, you know what I mean? The
Yes.
Princess Bride, Flight of Dragons. These are the things which I wanted to put on on film, video, just to like say, hey, I remember this stuff. And I used to have
Yep.
this gimmick where I would wear a headsets, almost like I'm getting signals from beyond telling me what I'm going to talk about. It was really stupid, right? Again, you do things early on when you're making these videos, but you
Sure.
look back
Because
at
what we're doing now is not stupid, but yes, back then.
but you look back at it, you just have to smile. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
have to smile and just say, "Hey, I remember doing that," and I remember being stupid and talking about eBay and talking about AliExpress and Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, right?
Yep.
And I loved it. I love talking about it. It was really just for me. You know what I mean? But slowly but surely, you get a small audience. But I wasn't growing because for whatever reason, oh, YouTube hates me, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? But as I started going to Comic Cons and as I started doing more things, certain things started to happen. Yeah, the long lost Voltron 2. And what ended up happening was we went into the pandemic, and everybody
Oh.
got locked in their homes.
Mhm,
So I
mhm,
remember
mhm.
going stir crazy in my house one day, and I remember thinking to myself because at the time Pixel Dan did a report that the real Ghostbusters figures were being reissued for the first time in decades. And I remember thinking to myself, God damn, I love those. I loved those when I was a kid. I love the real Ghostbusters. As soon as that happens, I'm going out and I'm going to find them. And that was the first time I like when they finally let us out, literally when they let us out just to go shopping for our food.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm gonna sneak into Toys R Us somehow, and I'm going I'm gonna go get a set of these guys. So I literally went on a hunt, and this was before they actually shut everything down. And I walked into Toys R Us after decades. I hadn't been in the Toys R Us in years. And if you watch my first Toys R Us hunt, actually, if you go up, it's actually there. If you go back up a little bit, Brick.
Mhm.
Yeah, go back. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Well, so okay, slow down, slow down. There it is.
I
Actually,
figured we right around this area.
yeah, slow down a little. Go down a little bit more. A little bit more. Yeah, it's one of these. There it is. No, sorry, I just passed it. Toy hunt. Up one more. Up one
Up
more.
here.
There it is. That's my very first toy hunt right there.
Okay.
Toys R Us
Yeah,
toy hunt. Right.
there's a visual transition
Yeah.
to so I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my very first toy hunt
Okay.
that I did, and it's funny watching that video because again, didn't get very many hits, but that was my very first toy hunt, and that was where I think I got more interaction on that video, even though I didn't get a lot of hits. A lot of people were like, "Holy crap! Thanks for showing me this. I can't believe Toys R Us exists." Blah blah blah. You know, just a lot of things. And as I went out for more toy hunts, so what happened was shortly after that, um, they announced Master Universe Origins, and I literally lost my mind. I was like, "Oh my god, Master Universe is coming back to!" I was going crazy. So then, as you can see, literally like 3 episodes down, you can see that MOTU exclusive toy hunt by Walmart. Go back up a little bit.
Right here.
Yeah, see the two the two sky sleds, and
Yep.
yeah, and that's where everything really took off because
Got
there was a resonance with people who love Master Universe, and
Uh-huh.
I was going gangbusters trying to find them,
Oops.
and then from it just exploded. Like you know, as you can see, the very next one down, there's
Oh my god. Yeah, you see the 2000,
yeah,
2000, and
2000,
then
and
it's
then
like
if you go down, it's
9.
9,000, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where that's really where things started. I caught a wave,
Uh-huh.
and I just kept going. All right, and I noticed that Toys R Us was some of my bigger hitters because you know a lot of
People
American
getting
viewers,
nostalgic.
a
Yeah.
lot of American viewers got nostalgic. They were like, where
Yeah.
the hell are you?
Right.
You're lying. Like this doesn't
Sure.
exist." And people were just going freaking out.
You're
Right?
lying. I
Right?
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how that started. So here's something that you'll hear from a lot of YouTube experts, a lot of YouTube people. You have to experiment. You have to try different things. And
Mhm.
I just did something for fun, which was to go hunting for something like this, and it just turned everything around. And
Mhm.
then my whole channel started becoming about nostalgia with toys, and I started realizing that you know what, there's a resonance here with people who enjoy the stuff I did, right? That I do,
Totally.
but
Mhm.
on a different level, on a toy level, right? Not so much the
Mhm.
cartoon level, but on a toy level. And I started really deep diving into that, and um, and here's the other thing. I learned really quickly that I couldn't keep it up. There was no freaking way I could just keep buying toys.
Oh, okay.
As much as I wanted to, I was going crazy at the beginning. I was buying everything in sight. Like you can like the stuff you see behind me. Like
Uh-huh.
you've seen some of my. I don't know if you watched some of my videos of me just cataloging and going through my crap,
Your stuff.
but
Yep.
there are videos out there where I'm like, oh yeah, time to rearrange the room again. Oh yeah, time to here's my horde of toys, right? And I quickly realized after a while, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep buying toys, right?
Mhm.
Not to the volume that I was doing around that time. So I said, okay, I made a conscious decision to split my channel. A lot of people don't realize this, but I've actually split my channel into two different
Second
channels.
channel.
I have Mega J
Yep.
Retro and I have MJR Collector.
Yep.
And with MJR Collector, I successfully, and it was hard. It was not an easy thing to do, but I successfully migrated all my toy hunting videos over to MJR Collector, and it's been
Mhm.
like that for a while. And I switched over to a toy news type of channel where I report mostly on the new latest upcoming toys and again flash in the pan kind of things where you know you get to see more or less in real time as it starts to happen what toys are coming out right now and what people are expecting, exciting new toys. So I talk about upcoming crowdfund projects. I talk about what Mattel is doing. I talk about what
Mhm.
Hasbro's doing. I talk about Star Wars. And it's worked right now. I'm grateful that my toy hunts still get a lot of views. As a matter of fact, my most successful video right there at the top. If you go back to home,
Oh,
um,
yep.
yeah,
This
yeah,
one.
my most successful video is right there, right
Mhm.
now. This was 2 months ago. It hit 131,000 views, right, for Toys R Us and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So yeah, if for all aspiring YouTubers out there and toy tubers and like everybody, this is not easy. Okay, so first off, I'm going to say right away, if you're looking to become big on YouTube, forget it. It's not going to happen. I can tell you that right now. You're not like, if you're looking to be famous on this, forget it. That's not going to happen either. Okay. Not the way you're thinking anyway. What you have to do is you have to be passionate about something. You have to love what you're talking about. You have to really eat, sleep, breathe, and just make it part of your life, right? Because if I did not enjoy these the way I do, and bring the same passion and energy that I do with every video that I do, no one would care. Okay, and people can tell.
Absolutely.
People can tell if you're doing this as a job. People can tell if you're doing this because you feel obligated to do it. People can tell. All right, and that's where the viewership does not connect.
It's
All
so
right.
funny you say that. I used that word exactly this morning talking about it. Like
Yeah.
once something becomes an obligation, it kills it for me, let alone the audience. Yeah.
Yeah. It because people can recognize if you love this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they resonate with that, right?
Yep.
What Brick is doing is amazing. Showcasing people and companies and customizers and the hard work that they do. That is passion. Okay,
Thanks,
like
man.
geeking out of this stuff and bringing in someone like me and just like, oh man, and getting, holy crap, what the hell is that? Like I literally lost my mind just a few seconds ago, right? And I was like, Jesus, I never even knew this existed, right? And that's the kind of thing that gets people excited. I was excited. I was absolutely through the moon just now, right?
Yeah.
I'd never seen these things before. I never
Nice,
knew,
nice.
what that entails, right? So if you're going to make this into your thing, make it into a hobby. Do this as a hobby first, right? Do this as a hobby, like as what you love. If you love Star Trek, like Geek the F out, right? Or if you know nothing about Star Trek, like Geek the F out, but you want to learn about Star Trek and you want to share that experience with everybody out there, right? Follow Silver K, follow everybody follow Geek the F out, right? And learn together, right? Like watch the TOS, watch the what's it called? New Strange New Worlds, right? Like follow that journey with them,
Yep.
right? There's a lot of channels I'd love to shout out, like Ostromandus Toys, right? One of the hardest working streamers on the planet.
And he just said the same thing about you. It's perfect.
No, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I am not a model to follow. That's that's what I would not.
No, you're absolutely right. Like everyone here, there's some amazing content. Thanos is starting to put do retrospective of his stuff on YouTube.
Brink,
That's coming soon.
Brian Brink is bringing us wonderful charts.
Realm of Toys too.
On toys, right? Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. A lot of great creators here. Shiny Plastic People. Just, again, like just looking through all the people who are here and sharing their love of and their passions for what they do. You know what I mean? Figuratively speaking, right? Of course. Again, follow all these wonderful creators because they have a passion for this, right? And that's how you're going to get ahead in YouTube. That's because if you speak from the heart, if you know what you're saying is true, and if you are really actually passionate about what you're doing, that's where people are going to start following you. Hella Dope Toys has a podcast right now. They're doing some great stuff.
Yeah, they're going to be on
Master Toy Hunter. He's also doing customization work. Guys, if you haven't checked out Master Toy Hunter, definitely check out his customs.
Yeah.
1/6 Shooter. Largo's Lair, you know what I mean? All these great guys who are just doing some great work. You know what I mean? Like highly articulated. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Another great Canadian. You know what I mean? Like C. Jessam, of course. The featured here today.
Yep.
Right.
That's what it's about. Like that's the other thing with this whole toy thing is that you're talking about like the folks being rock stars or whatever. But the reality is, one, I think people are a lot more grown up. The people who are doing toy collecting, we're just at a different stage of life, right? We can share the space and we want to meet each other and like build community. And I think that's what I really appreciate. Allison Troy with Retro Toy Princess, right? Like there's this beautiful community and folks are here like supporting me on this like live stream and like we're on Discord together talking. Like it's really, really, really cool. And so Yeah, I really appreciate you ending on that note, man. That is really beautiful because you're totally right in sort of like naming that, and it's actually really validating. I appreciate that you're like reminding us, like, yeah, let this be a hobby, because that's what this is really for me. Like, I've got a full-time job, man. I'm a public school teacher. I've been doing it since 2001. Like, I'm a pot committed teacher. Like, that is what I do. But I'm a creative dude who likes toys and geeky things, and I love talking with other people about it. And so when you talk about passion and stuff, that's not something I need to make up, because it's like it's what I'd be doing anyway. The only difference is I hit start stream and end stream or record. I think that's a little bit of so I appreciate that, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
you know, and I love what you do, Brick. You know what I mean? I
thank
love the
you.
passion you
Thank
bring.
you.
You know, warriors of the kingdom. You know,
Yep,
all the
yep.
great work you do. The you know, the transition work that you do. You know, the summaries and a lot of the passion that you bring to that. Right. It's been a while since you built some Lego, but you know that's also something which might come back to the channel. But YouTube is a vicious mistress, and she will punish you if you like stray too far
For this,
from your
yes.
path, right?
Mhm.
But to find that path, you got to experiment, you got to try
Yeah.
different things, right?
Yep.
And I've been fortunate, very fortunate. I make no bones about that. I caught a wave and I stuck to it, and now I'm trying to find something else. Not because I need to, but because I know that you know there's other things which I'm passionate about, which I want to talk about, right? And
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, as I said, YouTube is a terrible taskmaster. If you don't follow your path that it's decided you're on, you
Mhm.
will lose. All right,
Mm.
you will slowly start losing. So if you want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you've got to do something else, right? You've got to, like for instance, that's what I've noticed. Okay, so I've noticed now that TMNT is the hottest freaking thing right now on the planet. Okay, and if you want to catch that wave, you need to decide, because right now, every time I put, let me. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna let everybody know what's happening right now. Um, as much as I love talking about toy news, I always somehow come back to Master Universe on my channel. You'll notice that if you just scroll through right now, you'll notice a MOTU,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
like dominates, like I guess 80% to 90% of my videos. Okay. I'll always come back to MOTU because that is what
Yeah.
resonates with me. That is what resonates with my audience. Okay. I'll have success like gold label Batman there, right? That almost hit 8K, right? I'll have
Oops.
some
Uh-huh.
success with other brands, right? Like
Mhm.
Thundercats, because it's the biggest, you know, playset ever, right? And I'm
Sure.
passionate about that too. Everyone knows that, right? But it always comes back to MOTU. You will not see a week that goes by without at least one, or maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, but
I
it'll
mean,
always
you
come
did
back
a
to MOTU.
solid week here. Yeah.
It will always come back to MOTU, right? Because MOTU is something I just am super passionate about, and YouTube knows that, right? And my
Yeah.
audience resonates with MOTU. All right.
Yep, yep.
So just as an aside, right now I'm actually trying to. So here's okay. So here's a wonderful little tidbit for you and your
Ooh,
audience,
all right.
Brick. If you go to Motu J on YouTube, nobody knows this yet. Well,
Okay.
somebody figured it out, but most people don't know this. If you go to Motu J,
One word, two words.
2 words, Motu J.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, if you go to Motu
80
J,
subscribers.
right?
I think I want to subscribe to this
Okay,
channel.
well, okay. So this is
Huh.
this is my other channel. This is my next channel that I'm trying to build.
Okay.
Right. So if you scroll down,
Sorry, I
if you
was just gonna look at the info, but
oh,
sure, let me
there's
go back to this.
I'm intentionally I'm trying to make this ambiguous to me.
Okay.
This is an experiment. So we're talking about this now. Click on videos actually. Yeah, we're talking about this now. This is my new channel which I'm experimenting with.
Oh,
Okay?
okay.
Don't
Check it out,
stop.
folks.
Yeah, don't stop, guys. Don't stop. Always experiment. Okay? So my goal, and this is just for you guys, right? Nobody else knows that. Nobody else knows about this.
Okay.
So my goal here is to try and make this my Master Universe channel, and then continue with my news channel for Mega J Retro, and try to diversify in there. My ultimate goal, okay, and again, you guys are the first ones to know about this. Like I haven't even told my Patreon supporters about this, but you know what the hell. And I will be telling them because I have a Patreon exclusive video coming out. But yeah, my ultimate goal is to see how many channels I can make. I want to see if I can make a Star Wars channel. I want to see if I can make a MOTU channel. I want to see if I can make
Oh
a
wow.
G.I. Joe channel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because just like your financial advisor is going to tell you, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You don't do that, right? Because if one starts to falter, you know, you need a parachute to pick yourself up on the other end, right? It might not work. I think this channel now has, well, today I guess it's got 79 subscribers now. I guess
it's like 82. 82.
Oh wow, it went to 82. I'm surprised. All right, so Brick just became the 82nd
subscribe, folks.
And yeah, please guys.
No, I'm not. Thanos is in there. Like you got folks who are jumping in for sure.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I mean, it's not gonna.
I tried.
You just need to name it on your main channel, and I'm sure.
No. See, so this is being experimental, right? Trying different things. What I'm doing with this channel is specifically is to see if people would discover it without me telling them, right?
I see.
So I like tonight. I'm gonna give a little bit. It's gonna throw it off a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay, right?
Throwing off your experiment, but sure.
A lot of it's fine. I don't mind it. You know, it's been up for a few. It's been up for a few weeks now, and I've tried doing different thumbnails, my style, but you know, it's hard to really differentiate on that. But yeah, it's not exactly the same way. But yeah, I'm trying different things, and that's important. If you're going to be a if you're going to be a YouTuber, you need to keep experimenting. You need to keep moving in different directions. So yeah, so now I have about 3 channels. I've got I've got Mega J Retro, I've got MJR Collector, I've got MOTU J.
Yep.
So
very cool.
Yeah, and my journey's been a very slow and progressive, and I made mistakes, and that's okay. You know, you have to make mistakes. You have to try, and but the most important thing is to be passionate about what you're doing. If you're passionate about what you're doing, people are gonna recognize that.
Will Geek Proud sort of be the home and like the sense of like connecting to those things?
So Geek Proud has gone through multiple iterations, and I have a friend who used to administer this to help me out. It's built on the bones of another site that I built years ago. And I'm working. I'm moving it. I'm actually going to redesign it again. I haven't updated. This is terrible because I haven't updated it on the regular. That's going to change. As a matter of fact,
it looked like it was a little older, so I wasn't sure because I love that you end with a Geek Proud and those kinds of things. I was wondering like, where's this going? And so, yeah, I think I understand a little more now today.
Yeah. So fun story with Geek Proud. I've always been a geek at heart. I've always been that. And every video I do, you can watch every video since the inception of this. Well, actually, I didn't do it for the original 4 videos. The original 4 videos, I didn't do Geek Proud. I don't think so. Anyway. Again, it's been years. But I started that phrase, because I've always felt that geeks need to be proud.
Sure.
That's something I've always felt strongly about. You should never be ashamed of being a nerd. You should never. I was beaten up as a kid for being different. You know what I mean? Like I was the only Chinese kid in my school. Okay, and I don't resent anyone for that. I don't. I learned from it. I grew from it. I was proud of who I was as a Filipino Canadian.
Nice.
All right. It's something which I instill upon everybody who, you know, my nieces, my nephews, everybody. Don't be afraid to be different. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I was the only one who liked cartoons in high school. I was the only one who liked toys in high school. I was the only one who loved anime in high school. That changed quickly, by the way. That changed very. I literally infected everybody in my high school with anime fever. But that's a difference. That's another lifetime. That's another lifetime ago. But I'll actually, Brick, can you full screen both of us? I do want to. I want to make a point here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. Let me close this out and get us back here.
I just want to say to everybody here, and I'm very sincere about this. You're not wrong for loving what you love. Okay, you're not wrong for being different. Okay, different is what makes us special. Okay, different is what makes us who we are. All right, if you changed if you changed to match society's norms, you've lost. All right. You need to be who you are. You need to be true to yourself. You need to be the person that you are today. Okay. And you need to surround yourself with people who love what you love. Okay. That doesn't mean that you have to, dump all your friends. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is find other friends, find people who share your passions, find people who appreciate what you appreciate. Right. You could be married to the greatest person in the world, right? 100%. They probably don't appreciate what you love to the way you appreciate it. And that's fine. That's okay. It's okay to be different. But find the other people out there who appreciate what you appreciate, right? Talk to the people who you appreciate the toys, the cartoons, the movies that you love, right? The type of music you love, right? We're all different, right? If you love sports, great. Love sports. I love the Blue Jays, right?
Yep.
Do what makes you happy. Okay, and never let anybody tell you how you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to be, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
100%.
Right? That's my. If I have a message to say to anybody out there, geek proud, okay, because we can all be geeks and we can all love what we love. Okay, you can be a geek who nerds out on sports. You can be a geek who nerds out on toys. You can be a geek who nerds out on popular culture, music, television, radio. You can do whatever the fuck you want. We are all geeks. It's just a different way of looking at it. That's what my message is, and that's why I always say at the end of every episode.
Perfect.
Geek proud.
Way to embrace your passions, folks. Like figure that out. As a teacher who works with high school students, absolutely, I try my best to encourage them to, be themselves, figure that out, and be proud of who they are. And definitely experiment, figure it out. But don't let people take your passion away from you, the things you care about. Absolutely, don't yuck other people's yum, and don't let people yuck your yum. I love it, man. I really appreciate you, Jay. Thank you so much for joining me on this little news thing. I'm so happy that I got was it holy crap from you? And that was fantastic. I love hanging out with you, so thank you again for the other night. Sorry, I put in the description. I was like, man, I was totally that guy who lingers at the end of the party and won't leave. So
it's all good. Thank you for inviting me, Brick. It's always great to hang out here. I want to thank everybody for spending some time with us tonight. You guys have been great. I did mean what I said. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. You know what I mean? If you think $650 for a freaking cat's lair is good value, fucking buy it. If you think that Ant-Man is not good value for $200, fine too. It's your choice.
Yep. Fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining us. There's a bunch of great content out there. Geek Dad Live is starting right now. Hella Dope is there. Just Shelve It is there. There's all sorts of great stuff. Always look out for Mega J Retro's streams and now multiple channels. You heard it there tonight. Thank you so much. This has been a great edition of the news. Thank you all. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Let's go ahead and sign off. So thanks again. You heard the Geek Proud. Let's do that. Peace, power, and Geek Proud, folks. I love it, man.
Geek Proud.
That's what's up. Yes, that's what's up. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you all so much.